Quinnipiac poll. Now, we don't have much use for Quinnipiac poll, like the college in Connecticut. If you have urchins that are, considering colleges, Quinnipiac is a good place to consider. The poll never really been accurate. Okay. So they surveyed 1,376 adults, 1,257 registered voters. Why just talk to registered voters? What do you want to do? What do you want to bring in people who aren't registered to vote? Why? For what? Is that the illegal alien vote? What are you doing? That's number one. The survey was fair, Republican, Democrat, Independent, fair. First question, if the election for president were held today, who would you vote for? Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? Harris 47, Trump 49. That's a dead heat within a margin of error. Second question, your opinion, Donald Trump, favorable, unfavorable, or you haven't heard enough about him? Favorable, 46%. That's the highest number I've seen on Trump favorability, coming off the shooting, of course. Unfavorable, 49. Haven't heard enough, 2%. Where are those people? Where are they? All right, third question, your opinion, Kamala Harris, favorable, unfavorable, haven't heard enough. Favorable, 37. Unfavorable, 51. Big number. Haven't heard enough, 11. Final question, do you think Joe Biden dropping out is the right or wrong thing? Right thing, 62. Wrong thing, 27. Don't know, 12. Okay. So polling right now is in flux, fluid, because news events take a little while to seep into the public. From my mail, and I get thousands of letters, the public is about 2 days behind. Now, the brighter people, the people who really pay attention, they're on it in a contemporary way. Boom, they got it. But the folks who are distracted by everything, it takes about 2 days. So the polling right now, it's still murky. So that number that Quinnipiac pulled out, 49-47, Trump over Kamala, probably not an accurate number at this point, in my humble opinion. Joining us now from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, is Dr. Charles Franklin. He is a professor of public policy and law at Marquette Law School and the director of the Marquette Law School poll. So am I being too harsh on the Quinnipiac poll?
Well, I think they're a quality pollster, but we can agree or disagree on that. The main point, though, is that those results are very much in line with what we've seen from other pollsters for some time. Trump's favorability rating has actually been rising pretty steadily over the last year. Harris has been about where you quoted her, where the Quinnipiac poll has. That reflects being the vice president, where you're kind of a reflection of the president. So one question is, as she becomes the nominee, does she see some real movement in that favorability or not? But it's quite low compared to Trump at this point.
Well, the problem for Harris is that her personal popularity is way down. So she polls better against Trump than she does by herself, correct?
Yes, that is good for her. One other thing that's good for her in that Quinnipiac, 11% say they didn't know enough about her to have an opinion. Across polls, that runs from about 10 to maybe as much as 15%. Again, that's normal for a vice president to not be known by everybody, but it leaves that opening for her to introduce herself and pick up a little support. And of course, it leaves the opening for the Republicans to paint her in a negative light as well. We're going to need a couple of weeks at least for that process to work out, though I do think we'll get some decent polling by next weekend.
I agree with you, Doctor. I think that's probably when everybody's shell-shocked now, trying to process all of this stuff. It came fast and furious, and most people have to work for a living. They got the kids yelling at them. They got vacation, and they got all of this stuff. So it's going to take a little while. Now, your poll, Marquette, which is a very fine university in Wisconsin. One of the guys that helped me in my career, Tom Snyder, went to Marquette University. Your poll concentrates on Wisconsin, a very, very important state. Do you think it's going to make a difference that Biden is out and Kamala is in?
I think at the margin, it can make a difference in polling since the debate. So after Biden got in so much trouble, we've seen the average Trump lead to be about 3 points over Biden But against Harris, Trump is up by 1.9 on average. So she does a little better than Biden, but still trails Trump. What we haven't seen is good polling in the 6 battleground swing states. So I don't think we have a good picture there. But again, I think not as vice president, but as the actual candidate, we're going to need a couple of weeks at least for those good polls in the swing states to come out.
There was some analysis today that said because Vice President Harris is a woman of color, this will mobilize minority voters, black voters, who were not enthusiastic about Joe Biden, and they will come over now to the Democratic Party. You think that analysis has any validity?
I think there's some truth to that. The Biden and Harris have been campaigning in Milwaukee and in the area a lot over the last 6 months with substantial appeals to black voters in both the president and the vice president's appearances. Also, younger voters who are put off by Biden's age. Young voters under 30 are the most Democratic, the most liberal, and the lowest job approval of Joe Biden. Harris could make some inroads with those, as well as black voters.
Appreciate it, Doctor. Keep us posted what's going on in Wisconsin. Thanks for taking the time today.
Thank you.
All right, we wanted to get another perspective on the polling because it does become very important. I would say I agree with Dr. Franklin. That's not going to kick in for another 10 days or so, but believe me, polling this time around, people are suspicious of both candidates, generally speaking. So joining us now from Virginia is John Schwepp. He's the Director of Policy at the American Principles Project, which is a conservative 501 think tank. So he's going to come at it from that point of view. So you heard Dr. Franklin. Do you agree with his assessment?
Yeah, I think, based on what we've seen, and we're a super PAC too, so we spend, quite a bit in these elections. We anticipate that Kamala is going to get a little bit of a bump here, just because you're going to see the media, entertainment, donors, everybody kind of going towards her. But ultimately, when you look at it, she's got an oppo file that's so long it honestly rivals the works of Leo Tolstoy. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous.
It's long. But here's why that might not matter. More and more, I see that voters are not engaged in policy. They know what the groceries cost. They know what the gasoline costs. They know what their insurance rates are. But they don't pay attention that much to, the micro political stuff that you do, that your foundation does. And yeah, you got an oppo file on Kamala Harris like that. If I were interviewing Kamala Harris, how do you think that would come out? Okay. But Kamala Harris is not going to submit herself to anybody like me.
Right.
She's going to do exactly what Biden did, stay away from any tough questioning. So the oppo file, I don't know if that's going to be that effective.
Well, it's all about narrative building. And, the Trump campaign this time around, you got to give them credit. They've raised a lot of money, right? You have Elon Musk giving $45 million a month or something like that. So, I think it's going to be key that they message in a way that really communicates to voters that she's this kind of out of touch elite. And, I would say that Trump picking J.D. Vance, they're really leaning into messaging to the forgotten men and women of this country, the working class. So I think you're going to be able to create this narrative. And, ultimately, it does come down to likability too, Bill. I mean, I think, she's not really somebody that I think working class people are really looking to get a beer with. And I think that's going to impact her. So we'll see. They're going to try to, paint her in a way that makes her look like this appealing candidate. But there's a reason even Democrats didn't pick her, ever get her above 3-4% in the primary in 2020.
Okay. Now, Donald Trump likability, I mean, it went up after he was shot. The sympathy vote went up. But Donald Trump, the MAGA people and Republicans at tune to 90% love him. Mm-hmm. But the independents don't. And I don't see much of an attempt to win those independents over. Am I wrong?
I think the campaign really is actually pretty focused on that. You saw that with the platform where, they're trying to and I actually disagree with this a little bit, but, moderate on social issues, do that sort of thing. But, you look at their messaging, I think they're really focused on this economic thing and really, what's gone on the last 4 years. You saw their first ad out of the gate once we knew Kamala was the presumptive nominee. They're tying her to Joe Biden and his record
Sure.
of failure. And I think, that's what they got to do. Take advantage of the fact that Biden was polling so low and try to sink Kamala as well.
Do you guys don't do any polling yourself, do you?
We do. Yeah.
Is that public or internal polling?
We usually go with an outside group like On Message or something like that, but we publicize a lot of it.
And how often do you poll?
Usually right before an election cycle, we do issues, and then we also do. So I would say the last poll we released may have been 6 or 7 months ago. It's been a little bit.
When's the next one coming?
Soon, hopefully. I think we're going to need to see some results.
Yeah, that would be important. All right. We really appreciate it. Mr. Schwepp, thank you very much. And when you get the new polling, please give us a call. We want to analyze it, okay? Thank you.
Would love
again.
to. Thank you.
Right. All right. Everything is expensive these days, you know that. The government is printing trillions of dollars and consumer prices higher than ever. If the government continues its printing and spending, the dollar could continue its free fall and lose its coveted role as the world reserve currency. Let's hope that doesn't happen. But there are a few things you can do right now. American Hartford Gold can show you how to protect your money, your retirement, your hard-earned savings against inflation by helping you diversify a portion of your portfolio into physical gold and silver. Start with a short phone call, and they can have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your 401k or IRA. So please call or text them right now. Tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you. Call 877-444-GOLD, 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. Again, that's 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. I'm going to make some predictions now for your amusement. I'm on a hot streak on the predictions. So if Trump is elected, who will be the Secretary of State? Marco Rubio. Who will be? There's Marco. And they're not going to call him Little Marco anymore if he's Secretary of State. It'll be Secretary Rubio. Secretary of Energy will be North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. He will run energy. Homeland Security Chief, taking Mayorkas's place. Who will that be? Mr. Ramaswamy. There are my 3 cabinet predictions. I will have more, but those 3 are, we'll remind you, by the way. We're good at that. All right, let's get, I'm going to spend most of this program on the presidential race, and we will do that until the vote. But I have to veer off into a couple of areas. So Governor Gavin Newsom was widely thought to be a presidential candidate if Joe Biden couldn't run. That's gone. And the reason is he is the most radical governor in the country, the most progressive, the most radical left governor. So there was a law proposed in Sacramento, the most radical state legislature, called AB 1955. Newsom signed it this week. And it basically says to California parents, you don't have any rights. We're ordering the public schools by law not to tell you if Shirley or Larry want to change sexes. The school authorities can't tell you. Here's what the law says, quote, this bill would prohibit school districts, county offices of education, charter schools, state special schools, member of the governing board or body of those educational entities from enacting or enforcing any policy, rule, or administrative regulation that requires an employee or a contractor to disclose any information related to a pupil's sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression to any other person without the pupil's consent, otherwise required by law. Okay. So your kid could leave the house dressed like a man or a boy, then go to his locker in school and change into a dress, and you, the parent, would not be informed. Now, this is right out of 1984, George Orwell book. And take all parental authority away. The state of California will raise your child in a progressive manner. This is what Gavin Newsom signed. That's what they want. Okay? So this finishes Newsom. He's not smart enough to know it, but this finishes him as a national candidate, because even liberal people should know that is way beyond the pale. That parents have authority over their children until they're 18 years old. And you're going to prohibit the school from telling you, the parent, that there's behavior that is questionable? No. Well, that's California. There you go. You work hard to support yourself and your family, but it may seem like you never take that next financial step forward. If the bills are higher than what you bring in, a credit card might be what's making up the difference for you. The problem is the debt keeps on growing. Well, if you own a home, my friends at American Financing can help you break that cycle. American Financing saves people like you an average of $854 a month. Even better, it costs nothing to find out how much you can save. And if you call American Financing today, you might be able to delay 2 mortgage payments. So start your journey towards being credit card debt-free. Please call 888-462-9557, 888-462-9557, or visit AmericanFinancing.net. By now, you have heard me talk about Delta Rescue. They are a fantastic organization that helps rescue animals from the wilderness. You know, I'm a dog lover, so is Leo Grillo, the founder of Delta Rescue. It is his life's mission to provide everlasting care for these once abandoned animals. I myself have donated to Delta Rescue. Do you believe it is part of man's duty to care for dogs and horses, the animals that so much of our history is tied to? If so, please consider making a donation or consult your advisor about leaving a gift in your will or trust. There can be some tax advantages, and it's a great way to help Delta Rescue accomplish their mission. So please visit deltarescue.org to learn more. That's deltarescue.org. Smart Life. My mail volume has really picked up, and so have Concierge and Premium members, because of our coverage of the election. As everybody knows, I predicted exactly what was going to happen, and thank God I was right. And then we did the Jon Stewart thing. If you missed that, we have it on BillOReilly.com. Anyway, it was like blowing up all over the world. Our audience has now reached parity with most of the television news agencies because of YouTube. And we have a much younger audience now because of YouTube. So we're where I wanted us to be. It took 7 years to get us there, but we're there. And so I'm generating a lot of mail from all over the world because we're everywhere. YouTube is everywhere. So my fan base is rapidly expanding, or, unfan base. Not everybody likes me, that's for sure. But Smart Life today is, do not emotionally react to politics, because that's going to hurt you, and I don't want you to get hurt. Follow it. Watch us. We'll tell you the truth. No matter what happens, we'll tell you the truth, but don't get emotionally involved. If you're getting angry or frustrated watching that television news, turn it off. Watch reruns of Blue Bloods or something, okay? Don't do that, because that turns into neurosis. And then you start to fight with people. Don't fight with people. All right? State your case. That's why I'm giving you all of these facts. People believe what they want to believe. You can present every fact in the world, and they're going to believe what they want, most of them. And it's your choice if you want to hang out with unreasonable people. Totally up to you. I don't. I don't. I got tons of acquaintances, and I have dozens of friends. It's far more than most people have. But if I think you're irrational, no. All right, because I don't have time. I don't have time to convince people of anything who don't want to be convinced. All these people are going, Kamala Harris is the greatest. Hey, let's do the wave for Kamala. Okay, people don't know anything. Even if you hate Trump so much that you'd vote for anybody else, and I understand that, by the way. I understand that emotion, okay? This is not the most qualified Democrat to run. This is a person who doesn't know very much and is a poor leader. That's who she is. And if she gets elected, all of our freedoms will erode and erode quickly. That's the truth. That's what will happen. So when you tell that to somebody and then they don't believe it, what else can you do? Okay. You're an American. You're entitled to vote wherever you want to vote. But you control the information that comes into your brain. If you find yourself like this, or hating people on television who are saying loopy things, turn it off. That's destructive to you. Smart life. All right, Sunday, last Sunday, July 21st, the hottest day in human history. Do you know that? Whoa. So the new record was put out by the European Union's Copernicus Climate Change Service. Copernicus, interesting guy. Look him up. Copernicus. And they say the hottest day ever. Sunday, July 21st. Driven by heat waves in the USA, Europe, and Russia. And remember, south of the equator, it's winter. Okay? So the average temperature on Sunday was 63 degrees, the highest average temperature of any day ever. All right, well, obviously, they weren't recording temperatures. At 1910, they started doing that. All right. And I believe it. It's hot. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.